Hello everyone, today I'm going to give you some fragrances that I think are well worth the price. And when I say well worth the price, that means that they are good performers, they're very unique, and to me personally, I think they're worth the money. Also, I'm going to give you a fragrance that I wore to the city of New Orleans. One spray, it had the women.
Make you weak in the knees.
Well, you heard Earl. This first fragrance I discovered in a niche fragrance store in Atlanta. As I was browsing all the fragrances, they had a lot of fragrances in there from Xerjoff to any fragrance you can name. I don't think they had unmatched, but once I smelled this fragrance, it was love at first sight. Then I asked the sales attendant what was her favorite fragrance, and this is the one she picked out. I did a vlog on this, and if you want to check that video out, I will leave it at the end of this video. But this is one of these fragrances that if you want to get into niche fragrances and you don't want to get into that daring type scent, this is more of a safe scent, but at the same time, it don't smell like anything that I ever smelled before. And the fragrance that I'm talking about is coming from the house of Filipino Dorsinelli, and that is Cuissais. Now, when it's first opened up, you're gonna get this nice juicy plum note. You're gonna get this heliotrope that makes a nice fruity floral note. You're also gonna get this lemon. So at the top of this is very fruity, very citrusy. Then once it dries down a little bit, it goes into the heart. You get that black currant that adds another red fruity note. You get this freesia note that's also fruity. So you can imagine this is very fruity, very citrusy. And it also has an ambrette note in it that's also musky and fruity. Along with that in the base, you're gonna get some amber that adding a lot of spice. And you're gonna get this patchouli that's not too earthy, just a light touch of it. And the end result is sweet, it's fruity, floral, spicy, and slightly citrusy. Now, I will admit to you, although this is unisex fragrance, it does lean a little bit more feminine, but to me, a woman and a man smell great wearing it. I wear it all the time. I love this fragrance, especially for this time of the season when it's hot and you want a fruity fragrance that don't smell like a lot of fragrances out there. It's gonna be unique, and that's from the house of Filippo Dorsinelli. Very lovely fragrance that I think is very well worth the price. The next fragrance up is from one of my favorite houses, that's Xerjoff. And I do own Alexander 3. I never smelled Alexander 2, but this particular fragrance is far superior in my opinion. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Alexander Oriental. Now opening up, you're gonna get this nice green apple note accompanied by some frankincense. So the opening have a very distinct apple note along with some smoky notes. You begin to pick up on some leather, and the basil note in this is one of the best basil notes that I have smelled in a fragrance. The heart begin to get a little bit floral. You begin to get this red rose. You get this coriander that adds like a spicy floral note also. Then it dries up, you get this oud that makes it sort of aromatic. You get some amber for spices. You're gonna get some sandalwood that makes it very creamy, and vanilla brings the sweetness. To me, when I think about luxurious fragrances, when I think about fragrances to wear to a special event that I want to stand out, this is one of those fragrances. It's woody, it's spicy, slightly aromatic, also has a touch of sweetness and a touch of floral notes. A fragrance that I very much well enjoy and I think is very well worth the price, and that's Alexander Oriental. Next fragrance up is coming from another one of my favorite niche fragrance houses. Now, I've been told some of the newer versions are a little bit more weaker than the older versions, but what I have is an older version of it. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Jubilation 25. Blackberry starts the show. Frankincense comes up in the background that adds like a piney smoky note. You get some labdanum that make it warm, smoky, and musky. And to start the show, once it reaches the heart, you get spices of cinnamon, you get spices of clove. Coming up in the base is myrrh that make it balsamic, smoky, and spicy. And you get this woody note of oud. The oud in this is more of a woody note, but the whole composition is spicy, fruity, slightly sweet, and it has a light touch of incense. Very lovely fragrance that I think you will enjoy. That's Jubilation 25 coming from the house of Unmatched. Coming up next is another fragrance that I discovered in Atlanta, and it was my first time smelling this house, and I fell in love with it. They have some nice fragrances in the line, and the house I'm talking about is Diptyque. The fragrance I'm talking about is captivate. Now, this fragrance is the basic patchouli rose combo, but what makes this different, what makes this lovely to me, is the patchouli in this is very earthy, and the rose in this is very red. So you get a red rose along with some earthy patchouli at the beginning, but what really separates this from most patchouli rose combo is that pink pepper note. They're giving it like a slightly floral spicy note. Smell very elegant. It's earthy, woody, spicy, and it's floral. Very lovely scent from the House of Diptyque, one of my favorite from the line, and that's Eau Capitale. Now, one of my most complimented niche fragrances is coming from the House of Nasamato. Now, the last time I wore this, I was thinking that the fragrance was too strong, but actually it's just a nice performing fragrance that you're gonna get 10 to 12 hours on, and you're gonna get plenty of compliments. You might think it's overwhelming, but actually it's not. Women actually love this on you. You will get a lot of compliments. And the fragrance that I'm talking about is Black Afghano. Opening, you get some nice cannabis notes. You're also gonna get some nice green leafy notes. A little while in, you're gonna get a nice combo of tobacco and coffee, making it very lovely, very dark. And in the base, you're left with oud. So this fragrance is woody, spicy, resinous, and very smoky. Very lovely scent. A lot of people might be intimidated wearing it. Although it performs well, it's not really a fragrance that's gonna turn people off. So I'm telling you, it's a very lovely fragrance, and that's Black Afghano from the House of Nasamato. Now, the fragrance that I'm talking about that got me some insane compliments, and I tell you what happened. We left to go to New Orleans Thursday night, well, early Friday morning, and I wore a light fragrance just to get me through the day. So once we got there, I let my friend smell this fragrance. I sprayed one spray on the back of my hand. So as I was walking, I kept smelling these whiffs. My friend was saying I was keep leaving scent trails along the way. So we ended up going to this bar. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with New Orleans, but if you ever went down Bourbon Street, it's not a very pleasant smelling area. So one spray on the back of my hand. So I went to the bar, I ordered a drink. It was this female bartender there. So she really didn't say nothing. So about an hour later, I went back up to order some more drinks. By that time, this young female came up behind me, and it was me and my friend was in line to get another drink. So she came up and she said, "Which one of y'all is smelling amazing?" So I raised my hand up, put it to her nose, and she's like, "Yeah, it's him. He's smelling amazing." And that's when the bartender chimed in. She said, "Yes, he smelled very amazing." And the fragrance I'm talking about is 1/4 of the cost of the rest of these fragrances in this list. And that fragrance is oud amazing. A very amazing scent. Now, it starts off with a juicy orange note, a real juicy fig note that's making it very unique, followed up with a touch of patchouli. The patchouli in this give it a little earthiness to it, but it's not overwhelming. You got leather and a clean musk coming in the base. I'm telling you guys, this is amazing fragrance. If I ever run out, this is one fragrance that I will order again. It's sweet, fruity, floral with a light touch of leather. I'm telling you now, this is a safe blind buy for a niche fragrance. That's 1/4 of the cost of the rest of these fragrances. If you find them at the right discounter, I'm telling you now, sample it, sniff it, check it out. If you want an amazing smelling fragrance, and that oud amazing from the House of Montel. All right, guys, that does it. Please give me a like, comment, subscribe. Everybody stay safe. Come back and see me. Peace.
Oh my God, now this ain't God, this is Stanley Earl.